What would you do in this situation? Remember back in November of 2023 when I talked about this Five Nights at Freddy's haunted house attraction located in Saudi Arabia? And through my research in that video, it turned out to seem to be actually official. And I'm covering this again because something magical happened. So yeah, they released a security breach attraction last year that was so much better than the first one, but I saw way less people talking about it, which is honestly pretty sad to me, because I think this deserves the attention. And although I do really want to get into the security breach attraction, I do want to also talk about some stuff with the first attraction that I missed last time. Or just things that I had no way of knowing back then. And before we get into all this, I do want to mention thank you to Tracy for helping me out with this. Very helpful. And also, somebody who was actually at the attraction did contact me about this and let me know a bunch of stuff about what it was like actually being there. So, you know who you are. Thank you very much. It is such a genuinely valuable thing to be able to talk to somebody who was actually there. Because Saudi Arabia is, a little bit far away from New York. Now, if you haven't seen my original video, you might want to watch that, but that was made before there were many pictures online. But now I have a whole treasure trove of more pictures, which is why I'm kind of retreading the original attraction in this video. Before we talk about the actual, this huge real-life Pizzaplex that they made somehow, how did nobody know about this? This is so cool. One of the biggest things I discovered was this Instagram account, which is seemingly fully official to the attraction, and it features stuff that makes me pretty 1000% confident this is real. Some of the earliest posts on this account are these promotions for the attraction before it opened, and they feature official Five Nights at Freddy's renders of various characters, and a lot of these renders we do not have publicly in high quality. And the only people who are ever given these renders are people who were officially licensed by FNAF. And we can see the same thing in some posts about the security breach attraction where they feature very high quality versions of the security breach merch renders. So we've made it pretty obvious that it's officially licensed, but licensed to who? Well, we actually get our answer right in the post. We can see here it's attributed to Boulevard City and Spacetoon. Now, it's at Boulevard City, so we could have gathered that, but who is Spacetoon? Well, Spacetoon is an international broadcasting company that does a lot of stuff. Their main thing is localizing and airing cartoons in other countries, but the main thing we want to focus on is the division of their company known as Spacetoon Event, which, if we look at the official YouTube channel, you can see that we've hit the jackpot. We can see a ton of really cool videos on this channel that feature the attraction fully, and we'll start with the ones that are from the original attraction. And something I want to note is that all of the videos on this channel about FNAF have less than 500 views, which is shocking to me, because FNAF fans are usually very dedicated to this stuff. I don't know why this flew so far under the radar. So here we got this one titled Frightful Encounters at Freddy's, and in it we can see some cool shots of the different animatronics and some scenery from the inside of the building. You can see a lot of cool statues and stuff, some stuff at the gift shop. Just generally a lot of good documentation of what the inside looked like. And something that I find interesting is you can see this animatronic here, which you may think is like a weird Freddy attempt that they made that doesn't really look like Freddy, but it's actually just a random retail bear animatronic you can buy, which definitely looks inspired by FNAF, but it's called Baron von Frankenstein. I don't think this is licensed. Then we got FNAF Event Build-Up, which is a video where it basically just shows a quick time-lapse of them building the actual interior of the attraction, and this is really cool. I like this. And there's also some more footage of the inside near the end of it, which I'll play. There's also FNAF Beyond the Screams, which I really like the thumbnail of this video. And there's not really much interesting in this video on a surface level, but there is this thing, and I have no clue what this is. It looks like it might be an attempt at Dreadbear, but I really can't tell. Or maybe it's Nightmare Endo. That would make a bit more sense since there's a lot of exposed metal parts on him. Also, according to the person I know who was there, apparently this guy, his eyes flickered a lot and they made a really annoying sound. Then we got FNAF Terrifying Adventures, which features the CG animation of the Freddy climbing onto the building that I played at the beginning of the video, and this is peculiar. I don't know why they made this, but I'm very happy they did because it is very funny. And this Freddy model is clearly directly based on the Freddy mascot, which is really cool. They also did this other CG video of it's like fully CG, and honestly this is kind of neat because you can see all the models that they used to make the mascots and make the big statues outside, and it's neat, okay? It's also funny. And the giant Freddy hands outside the pizzeria is genuinely hard, I don't care, that's cool. Then we got FNAF Nightmare at Freddy's, which is a video that contains some genuinely really sick shots of the inside of the attraction. I love the statues and stuff and the animatronics. You can see a lot of stuff here, and something interesting about it is that you could see this van that's inside, which we also saw in the construction video, but here we can see pretty clearly that the van says Scott Cawthon on the windshield. I don't know what the idea was here, but that's good. What's up with the, giant dead rat? Oh. They've also got these short character feature shorts, which are only on Freddy, Bonnie, and Foxy, no Chica, because they don't like Chica. But these are pretty cool. I'll play them at 2x speed here.
Don't be afraid.
Then we got the longest one at 1 minute and 20 seconds, which is called The Curse of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And it's basically just a big compilation of people running through the attraction and getting scared, and it's fun. And something interesting featured at the end of this that my friend actually confirmed, the gift shop here was not normally accessible to guests. You had to actually complete the whole thing in order to access the gift shop. It was sort of a reward for surviving the night, I guess. But here we can see some great shots of the inside of the gift shop. And albeit it's pretty hard to make out because there's a camera filter over it, but we can see a copious amounts of the Badger plushies. And I found this video on another channel called Perfect People Media LLC. And on this channel, we can see some very good shots of the interior, and the aesthetics here are really good. I love the lighting and everything, and this just really makes it look cool. Yeah, the animatronics are off model, but I think this is a cool set. And there is another thing in this video that I want to talk about, but before that I'm just going to meander a bit here because I want to show the rest of the footage of the inside here because this really does look cool. And it's also our first look at the lobby. And at the end of this we can see a good look at the inside of the gift shop. It looks like a different section here, but we can see they have a whole bunch of random Funko figures and Funko Pops and random stuff. They have a crap ton of Freddy Nendoroids, which is really sick to see here. And according to my friend who was there, they also had a boatload of U2's products. And also according to my friend, they had a bunch of the sold out Think Geek Freddy Fazbear's Pizza kits, which, if that's true, that's kind of insane. Why do they have so much stock of this? There's also this news report on the attraction that I found where we got some pretty good looks at the inside here at this funny thing of Freddy scaring one of the news reporters. I like the way Freddy stands here. He looks so confused. Now, that news report combined with this video that I also found includes some interesting footage of the inside of the attraction that lets us get a good look at some of the pictures that are on the walls that you can't really see in other photos. Like this artwork of what appears to be Ignited Freddy. And there's some interesting stuff here that relates to the fanverse that I think is really interesting. Obviously, there were the Badger plushies in the prize area, but artwork of Ignited Freddy on the wall is very peculiar. And you can see here, there is another Ignited Freddy art on the wall, which appears to be the same image, just with different lighting, and you can see here, it's actually the same one used in the official Joy of Creation blanket. Don't ask me why the only non-U2's Joy of Creation merch is a blanket, I have no idea. But at least the art's cool. Also, thing I'm throwing in here in post because I forgot to mention it. Remember this guy from earlier that I was confused about? Well, there's a really good side profile of him in this, and yeah, you can see he's very Terminator-esque. He looks like he'd be on the cover of a Fazbear Frights book. So for other things that we can see in this video, we can see this pizza box which has poop all over it. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like burn marks and like ashes, and I don't even know. Then we got a nice close-up look at this cupcake, and man, he has seen better days. Okay, so they added all, like, the scraping and stuff to it. But that's a thing. But then, like, I don't know, the way they painted the eyes, it was very, like, sloppy. Also, the cupcake is, like, I don't know why is, like, the base of him is so, like, rigid looking. I don't know. Not a fan of this guy. But then we got this Springtrap poster, which is some very cool art. They did make... My phone is ringing. So anyway, that was some amazing Springtrap art from Turntail, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of Turntail official FNAF art featured in here, so that's pretty neat. This Springtrap is very famous for being featured on this t-shirt. We've got this Nightmare animatronic, like, mural on the wall, which features Nightmare Freddy edited to have blue eyes. I think they probably thought that the eyes on the render were the wrong color, so they changed them. And then there's also some renders of Grim Foxy and Jacko Bonnie in the back of the graveyard. And then Ignited Chica, which is very, very strange, but considering the Joy of Creation art we saw earlier, I don't think it's that weird. We got this art of Springtrap tearing apart Glitch Trap, which is also official, and I have a hoodie with it on it. Then there's also this beautiful art of Nightmare Fredbear as a burger. I also have a shirt with this on it. I don't know why this official art was commissioned by Scott, but it's pretty cool. There's also this painting which features Springtrap from FNAF AR, Jacko Chica from FNAF Help Wanted, Ignited Bonnie from the Turntail art, and Nightmare Freddy high up in the corner. This Springtrap FNAF AR render, completely irrelevant to the fact that it's here, but like this AR render of Springtrap is so weird looking, I don't know what he's supposed to be doing. We got some of the original posters from FNAF 1, or I should say the original drawings from FNAF 1. Another Ignited animatronic art, they really liked these, I can tell. Then we got some of the sister location blueprints of Funtime Freddy and Funtime Foxy, which is pretty normal to see, right? But then we've got some other weird stuff. So, there's this blueprint here, and I have genuinely no clue what this is supposed to be. It looks like it's an original character that they made, but I don't know who this is. This is definitely not an official FNAF character. It's very, like, humanoid, and also the blueprint is super detailed. I have no idea. Then there's also this Foxy blueprint, which they also definitely made themselves. We got some disgusting Lady Fizzy art here. A Broiler Baby render from FNAF AR. We've got a Twisted Chica, classic Funko Pop. Then we've got probably the funniest image in this entire thing. Out of all the paintings here, I think this one's the funniest. So, it's the FNAF 2 office, but they edited a bloody handprint. And then also, Molten Freddy is in the corner. Shadow Bonnie and Nightmare Bonnie are both in the hallway. And then there is a 2D Lady Fizzy artwork of Golden Freddy sitting next to the monitors, and he's really small. I don't know how something like this happens, but I'm really happy it did, because this is a beautiful image. Oh yeah, Nightmare Chica's on the monitor too, by the way. We got FNAF AR Thanksgiving art, which I actually really like this artwork. It's really funny that it's a Thanksgiving FNAF AR render, though. Then we got Clown Springtrap, classic. We've got another Turntail art of original Bonnie. I think this is actually based on the Help Wanted hard mode version of Bonnie. And then we've got Twisted Bonnie here. Another crazy Scrap Baby artwork, which I have no idea, like, who the artist was or, like, how new this is. I don't know, because sometimes there's, like, old merch renders that'll just never be used for years and we'll never hear about them. I don't know where this Scrap Baby art is from or who drew it, but it is really cool looking. We got the classic Molten Freddy render in black and white for some reason. We've got this Nightmare Freddy who has white eyes spray painted onto him with tears dripping down. It kind of goes hard. And then we got a monochrome Golden Freddy with the same thing going on. And that is it. Wow, weren't those some great images? Anyway, I'm moving on. Wait, some cool shots of the inside I can share. Just putting these in. Now, the first attraction was relatively obscure already, but even weirder, there is another one that, to my knowledge, is open right now as I'm speaking. What happened to him? So, while the new one that opened does reuse a lot of stuff from the original and is basically just them reopening that, there is a lot of stuff also that is completely different though. Like, since it's in a different building in a different city, now we've got this. This is like... Okay, so the original had issues, obviously, right? It used some wrong designs, it's got some weird proportions going on, but like, it still looks cool. Like, this one still looks really cool. I don't know what's going on here. If this was what the original attraction would have looked like, I would have immediately assumed it was bootleg, because, man, these statues are just not great. Also, while on the topic of the big, like, statues out in front, I want to mention, there's this photo of a guy working on the endoskeleton, and, oh my gosh, look how big these things are. Like, this guy is the same height as the endoskeleton's head alone. That's insane. I assume there was some crunch time or something while making these. Now, even though a lot of the stuff in this new attraction was reused from the previous one, that's not to say they didn't make anything new, because they actually made new versions of probably the hardest thing to make, the actual animatronics. Now, this attraction did reuse the same Freddy from the previous attraction, but Bonnie and Chica are brand new, and honestly, they look alright. Obviously, their faces look a little, strange, but I see the vision, okay? These are pretty cool. I like them. Bonnie does appear to be wearing a vest for some reason, and he does have a tongue, but I kind of like how this looks as just kind of like a creepy Bonnie design. Like, I don't know, I think he's got his own charm. Now, if you want to see an actual creepy design, there are some actual, like, nightmare... This picture I'm about to show you is genuinely scary. I don't know how to describe it, it just has that aura to it. I don't like this suit, and I mean that in a good way, because it's scary, okay? Like, if I saw this thing in, like, a haunted house and it started moving, I would crap my pants. That's kind of all there is to talk about with the other attraction, though, as far as I know. There's not really a whole lot there. It's just kind of a neat thing that they're, like, reopening it in other cities there. It's kind of cool. And then, before we move on, I do want to show this Freddy animatronic, who I found in a promotional video, and he makes me a bit uncomfortable. Why did you take my phone, Vanny? I needed that. The moment you've all been waiting for, the security breach attraction. Now, this is genuinely such an awesome thing, and it's so crappy to me how there's so little online documentation, because it's genuinely awesome. But hey, that's why this video exists. I'm here to spread the word. The statues outside on this one, immaculate. Could not be better. These are absolutely such an improvement over the ones that were on the first attraction. You can tell they really found their footing after that first attraction, because basically everything in the security breach one is higher production value, and it's way more accurate to the game. This video is crazy, by the way. I wish I was climbing on Glamrock Freddy. They did such a good job on the exterior here. Are these to scale with the giant holograms from the game? I wonder. So let's go through all the animatronics and suits featured in this security breach attraction, because there's quite a few. Starting with Monty, who looks genuinely perfect. I can't think of a single thing they could have changed about this to make it better. He just genuinely looks super good. Like, come on, look at this guy. Thing I noticed of all the characters here, Monty is just kind of aura farming the whole time. Vanny here, who is probably the easiest character to get right, but still, she looks very, very accurate. You can see this video here of her on the hunt in Fazbear, and this is cool. The Fazbear set looks very, very good. It literally looks ripped straight out of the game. I love the panels and stuff. And briefly in that video, you can see the Roxy animatronic, who looks very, very perfect. Like, again, like they pretty much looks like they just ripped the models straight out of the game. She looks absolutely perfect. Then we got Moon, who lives outside of the attraction, similar to the puppet on the first one, and this suit is very, very tall, which is a bit uncharacteristic for Moon, but he does indeed look very, very cool. There's also some footage here of the inside of the daycare with Moon also in there, and yeah, this looks pretty cool in here. It's not 100% accurate to the game, but still, it looks cool. I like it. Now, I'm really tired, and I'm just kind of gonna rapid fire through all the stuff in this attraction because there's a lot to cover. They made like 3 of every character for some reason, so I'm gonna get into it. Now, they didn't make a normal Roxy costume, but they did make a ruined Roxy costume, and this looks absolutely fantastic. This is easily the best costume they made for any of these. It basically just looks exactly like the character did. It is such a perfect translation, and I really love this thing. Then here we got Burn Trap, who there isn't a whole lot of documentation of, but I really like how he looks from what I see here. He looks pretty cool, and apparently he rocked back and forth, and you could see his eyes flicker occasionally. So he was an animatronic, albeit a very simple one. And with Burn Trap was Eclipse, who also looks fantastic. This is probably on par with the ruined Roxy suit, I'd say. Like, this is very, very cool. They really went all out with the ruined characters. We got this Vanny animatronic, which is really funny. Just like the way it moves and the fact that it's in like a bathroom stall for some reason. There was also a Glamrock Freddy suit, which seems to be more of like a form-fitting rubber costume, which is very peculiar to me. It's cool, but I also just kind of wonder why they went this route, considering how bulky Monty is, for example. They also made a Freddy animatronic who is noticeably more off-model than all of the other ones, and I have no idea why he looks like this. But he's really funny. Like I like this guy, okay? He's got wit and charm. There's also a ruined version of this same Freddy animatronic, and I'll admit, this ruined version does make him look quite a bit better. I do think he still looks very funny, though, but I think it's in a good way, you know? I don't mean this to insult him. There's also this stationary statue of ruined Freddy again, although this one is missing his head, like in the actual Ruin game. There's a small animatronic of ruined Monty, whose mouth opens and shuts and his eyes will flicker. Then there's also this ruined Roxy animatronic, which is T-posing, and it doesn't look anywhere near as good as the suit. I don't know. They must have had multiple different teams working on this or something, because I don't believe this was made by the same people as that costume. There's also this Nightmare Staff Bot, which looks absolutely beautiful. This one is really, really good looking. Like, it looks perfectly faithful to the game. The only weird thing about him is that he's really, really freaking tall. Here's this weird Freddy, who I don't believe is an animatronic, although he could have a little bit of movement, I guess. He looks a bit weird. And then probably, like, way better than the ruined Roxy animatronic, obviously, but this ruined Chica animatronic was sculpted in a T-pose for some reason, and it's very weird. Its arms, like, flap like a bird, and its eyes light up, and it's cool looking, but it's like, why is it T-posing? We got the Glamrock Chica animatronic, which is another character who looks lifted straight out of the game. This one is basically perfect looking, like the proportions, the everything. Like, it doesn't seem to move too much, but it does look really, really fantastic. Then we got this Chica costume, who appears to have mesh eyes and not any electronics in it, very similar to the Freddy one from earlier, so this is probably to pair with that Freddy, and yeah, she looks good. There's also a third regular Glamrock Chica, which is also completely different, and this one appears to have some electronics in the face, although I can't find any footage of them actually working. Its eyes are just closed all the time. This Chica suit is slightly more bulky. There's this prize corner with, like, burnt plushies on it. Then here's some good footage of Chica's room, and as you can see here, it is very, very faithfully recreated from the game. Like, they did such a good job capturing it. A lot of the rooms in the Security Breach one are just a lot more faithful to specific things, I noticed. It probably helps that the other one was more generally FNAF themed. This one's very explicitly Security Breach, so I think that gave them a bit more of a direction. Now you can see here Monty's room, and it is extremely green. Oh my gosh. There also does appear to be a statue of Sun in the daycare that I missed earlier, but I can't find a single other angle of it, so this is gonna have to do. But yeah, I think the environments here just capture the Pizzaplex really, really well. They did a great job here, and all the characters in this one are so much more on model, or at least most of them are, compared to the first attraction, and I think it's just a very clear improvement in an effort to improve, because the first one did get a lot of criticism. And I respect this a lot, but I'm also kind of confused as to why this isn't being shown to the rest of the world as much. I understand not bringing it worldwide, because that's a bit unrealistic to expect, but like, I don't know, I feel like more of this stuff should be shared and talked about. It's weird how Scott Cawthon or nobody who was actually involved with FNAF has seemed to acknowledge it, despite it very clearly being licensed. This is a very cool little attraction, and I do hope to see them do more in the future, because they're very cool. And you know, maybe if they do another one, I'll do a part 3. If they did another one, I'd assume it would be very strongly FNAF 2 themed because of the movie coming out, but that's just a guess. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this compilation of all the info and documentation I could find of this place, and let me know if you find anything else in the comments, because the more the merrier. So yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. So much, there's genuinely probably so much more I missed. This Monty statue thought he could slip by me. Bye bye guys, see you next video.